Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. It is going to be a great Thursday. Let's see how we did, though, on a Wednesday. Let's see the recap screen here. 4-4. I believe we've got some plus money plays in there. The Corbin Carroll play from Sniper. Sniper was 2 for 2. Could have been 3 for 3, but of course, the Royals game got postponed. 4-4 with a couple of plus money plays. That's okay, but it's not great. We got to definitely do better than that. This show, obviously, as you know, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. And we got to get the stars of the show in here because we've got a packed house. We got a packed house in the chat. Thank you for being in here. Hit the like button. But we've got a dream team out here, and it includes one Larry Hartstein. Larry, welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while.
I missed you all. I'm not ashamed to say it. I actually missed you all. I missed the chat. I missed the banter. I feel refreshed after a little travel. A little NBA controversy I wanted to touch on. Was it a dirty play? Steve Kerr said it was not a dirty play. Amen Thompson getting under Jimmy Butler and him going down. And now the Warriors, they were minus 300, now minus 175 to win the series. I think the expectation is that Jimmy will be back for game 3, which is not till Saturday.
So I was listening to you, Larry, I promise. But then I was looking at the scroll, the bottom third, and I'm like, wait a minute. Does Danny Brasco already have a cricket play that he's trying to get people on in the chat? Danny, please speak.
10 a.m. every morning, Indian Premier League kicks off. That's why I'm always firing away at 9:59 in the chat. And the Rajasthan Royals are bowling first. Shop around for this prop if you can. I like Hasaranga to be their top bowler. It's there on the screen, courtesy of Ben. Plus 350 odds. He's in great form, and every time he takes a wicket, which is an out, he hits you with the great celebration. He does this little woo across the beard. It's sweet, it's smooth, and he's playing like it. Get that in if you like it.
I was actually going to say that myself, so Danny copied me and stole my thunder.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, we know, Kenz, you're big on the cricket, but Mike, I do have to speak with you because we got some afternoon baseball, and I know your pick is actually NHL related today. But when Brasco said the Royals, it just got me thinking. They got a doubleheader today. Cole Reagan's on the mound on the front end. They're like minus 250 to win that game. Did you happen to? And forgive me, this is an absolute cold call. Anything in that game that you might want to take a look at, or you just haven't looked at that one yet?
It would be the under on the full game if I were to play anything in that one. But I could also, since Danny is targeting a Royal, I don't mind parlaying it with the Royals money line game 1 with Cole Reagan's on the mound. So I do like the Royals to get the win, like the under in that game, and potentially a Rockies team total under. So
a cross-sport cricket baseball parlay with the Royals and the Royals. That's how we get it started on a Thursday on the Early Edge.
From Rajasthan to Kansas City. We go global at the Early Edge.
It is unbelievable. John says, Kenz, it's draft day. Are you ready? You're wearing the Eagles jersey. Not exactly a visual I wanted to see, if I'm being honest, but it feels like Howie Roseman and company just kind of dominate the draft. What are you looking for? Are you, I mean, listen, you've been breaking down the draft for a couple of weeks. Are you kind of fixated on what the Eagles might get? Because they are obviously later in the draft.
See, sometimes we like to skip the line, so I'm not going to tell you and sit here that we're definitely going to be where we are. I think, all these trades are going to happen. I think the tough part with the draft is, and what I've been trying to advise people all week is like, this is a night where you take a bunch of plus money and you hope to go 1 for 5 and profit going 1 for 5. This isn't a night you try to go 5 for 5. So taking some long shots, taking some plus money, knowing you're not going to hit all of them. Maybe you're, insuring yourself. I think I've done a lot of, here's how you bet if Genty goes 5 versus if Genty goes after 5, and 2 different bets you can take on either side to guarantee some profit. So it's a bit of a mind game. I think a night like this is, just trying to play the books and ensure yourself some profit, but it's very hard to just predict what GMs are going to do, obviously, with a guy named Howie.
This is, can I just say, we're going to get to Mike. We're going to get to your pick in just a second, but a lot of cricket chatter. Jeff Stenberg says Jimmy Brasco, the guy loves cricket. That's amazing. Like that could absolutely stick. Jeff Stenberg always bringing it. Okay, Mike, Joe Neuenfeld in the chat says, I'm still sick over our hockey loss, Mike. That was from 2 nights ago when I believe you lost the first period under with 2 seconds left in the period. A, your response, B, your pick today.
1.7 seconds. And it was, it happens, right? And that's why it's the most fun sweat in sports. Yes, many people were feeling very good about it. We had the under 1.5. We had 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock, 0 goals on the scoreboard. And just unfortunately a power play for the final 2 minutes of the period. And we get that power play goal right there. So we're still going right back to it. Not the same game, same play, though. It's my favorite play in sports. It makes you want to sweat college football first quarter unders. It's the under 1.5 in the Battle of Florida. We are wearing the Florida Marlins hat, the best Florida sports franchise, in my opinion, when they had this logo. We're going to go Lightning Panthers under 1.5 in the first period. Just like that other series, you saw an explosion in game 1 in the first period. I think things zigzag a bit and go back to a defensive battle, particularly when you look at the spot for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning are down 0-1 in the series, playing on home ice. The last thing you do is surrender that first goal. You play extremely conservative. You don't make mistakes. You do not find yourself in the penalty box, because the one thing they cannot afford to do is fall down one game in the series and a goal on home ice. You lose the first 2 games, this series is essentially over. But for me, it's just these teams are competitive, the intensity, the defensive ability on both sides. The price point here, -104. These numbers, if you just sit and watch these, whether you cash this ticket or not, watch the juice on this from game 1 and 2 to later in this series. And the further we go into the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're going to routinely see these numbers be closer to -140, -150. It's just not moving enough from the difference between regular season hockey and postseason hockey. So we jump on these early every single year in the playoffs, doing it again here. Under 1.5 goals, just fade that second goal in the first period.
Okay, we're fading the second goal in the first period. And Mackenzie talked about jumping on things early and often. Zach Edey is a name that comes up often with you. Talk to me. Sometimes you're fading him, I think, if memory serves, and then sometimes you're on him. And it sounds like today at, 9:35, when we get the actual tip, OKC at Memphis, you're looking for at least a few Zach Edey points.
Yep, we just ride the Zach Edey stock. We buy it low, we sell it high when it feels appropriate. And right now, we're looking at a points prop. Now, this is at 7.5. I put it on the site at 7.5. I do think it's steaming to 8.5, so I would get on this now. This is a guy that obviously I've faded before in the right situation. But what you have to do if you're Memphis right now is just have a different offensive game plan than what has gotten you a 51-point loss and a 19-point loss. So to me, I think that's going to mean trying to get Chet in foul trouble, because that's something they really haven't been able to do. And Zach Edey being a larger part of this offense, I think will be a bigger part of that. He has not had a lot of field goal attempts throughout the first 2 games. But again, I think something has to change. And I'm willing to bet that having Zach Edey be a little more aggressive offensively could be one of those things. And even if you look back just to the regular season, I know we're not in the regular season, but he's 81% of this over in the last stretch of the season. So he's capable of it, making some free throws, getting to the line. We typically see this line around 9.5. So now that we're getting this buy low 7.5, I think this is when we go back on the overs for Edey.
Okay, we're back on the over for Zach Edey. I'm looking forward to watching that game. Mackenzie, any thoughts on that game? Are we going to see, obviously we'll see signs of life from Memphis, but it doesn't feel like it's a team that can actually compete on OKC's level.
No, I've talked about OKC before. This defense and the numbers they've put up, it's not a fluke. They are that good, and they're that much better than the second best defense, which is Boston. The gap between them and the rest of the league defensively is absolutely absurd. And then, by the way, you also have the NBA's leading scorer in SGA on your team. So your offense is humming along pretty well too. So they're so deep. They're so young, which I think is used to be seen as something to work against you, but they're not tired, clearly. So I just think this is a team that's not going to take their foot off the gas at any point.
Larry, do you have an opinion on this game from a side standpoint?
Yeah, 8.5 is up to 9 in some spots. I just think they're just so far superior, and it's going to be impossible really for Memphis to keep up. So yeah, anything less than 10, I would definitely lean OKC.
Mike, how about you? Any thoughts here?
Yeah, so I personally made the number 7.5, but I don't trust it. I don't love it. I don't want to play it. I think that the Grizzlies are in an extremely vulnerable spot here. And the issue is they're at home, obviously, right? If they fall down 15, 20 points again in this game, the series is over. Everyone knows the series is over. And at that point, I think it could just simply get very ugly with people checking out. So I'm not going to play it. Like, I think that, if everyone was 100% and all the effort was there and all of that and things went well, I think 7.5, I'd probably play it at 10 or better, but I'm going to pass on this because I think this series is completely over.
Yeah, I think it's probably completely over too. I'm not betting this game. But if you did want to bet this game, I do want to mention BetMGM account holders will receive in any sport, yes, any sport, parlay boost token. To use this parlay boost token, create a parlay and activate the token. If you win, you will receive extra winnings. Always want to use those when you're betting on BetMGM. We've got some SportsLine picks for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've got quite a few, actually, including a producer pick, which I might have to have a showdown against Ben on this producer pick. I think I might want to go the other way. But what do I know? Let's talk about what we've got in front of us right now. Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points at -105. That is from Mikey B. Nationals first 5 money line -108. That is courtesy of Amags. And then we've got Corbin Burns under 5.5 Ks at -140. That's courtesy of Tom Fornelli, who, oh, by the way, is on quite the heater. He's won a number of baseball picks in a row. This one's juicy, but he does like Corbin Burns under 5.5 Ks at -140. Let's get to the producer pick. Ben likes the Knicks first quarter money line -110. I got to say, I feel like Ben, you can maybe step in here, explain, make your case here, because I'm thinking Detroit at home, they don't win a lot of playoff series, a lot of playoff games. I feel like the crowd is going to be all over the Knicks in this one. And I don't think, I'm not even sure about Jalen Brunson. I feel like he's not going to get calls after flopping around all over the place all season and all playoffs. Ben, your response?
Yeah, I'm thinking just because the Knicks had just an awful start to their game in game 2. They just played terribly. There's Danny looking great with the Knicks.
Yes.
18 points is so little that I think at the very least they're going to want to have a much better start in this one. Maybe get to the line a little bit more. They were not getting the calls that they wanted in game 2. So between maybe some more foul calls, just a little bit of a better shooting night to start the game, maybe we get a little money line action. But I'm happy to hit the showdown button.
Wait, did you say you're happy to hit the showdown button?
Happy to hit it if we want.
Okay, in 3, 2, go. It is our first showdown with producer Ben. This is going to be absolutely epic. I don't want to brag or anything, but last time 3 people challenged me to a showdown and I won all 3. That was fun. Let's see who comes out on top here. All right, we still got so many more picks to get to. We got to get to Danny Brasco and his wardrobe change and all his UFC picks. Larry, you've got a pick. I've got a golf pick. We're going to cover it all right after this message from our partners.
Well, you need your sports news anywhere? We've got breaking news to bring you. Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Danny Brasco, a wardrobe change. I think for these UFC picks, you actually should have kept the starter jacket on. I know John agrees. He says elite starter jacket, Danny. And so does Dano, saying Brasco with the New York Knicks throwback starter. Absolutely love to see it. Danny Brasco is putting it back on. This is amazing. All right. Well, while you're doing that, I need you to consider giving some UFC Fight Night Kansas City picks. Go ahead, my friend.
We're doing it for vibes. This is a completely oversized starter jacket that I inherited, but it was so dope that I just could not take it, right? So got it anyway. No time to use it or wear it because it's like triple XL, but let's go Knicks. I'm so scared for the series tonight. I'm just moving on vibes. In the UFC KC we go. Kansas City card. This is a pretty big fight night, and I like it a lot. So I got 3 bets for you guys. Let me fire right through them. First up, on the prelims, I like Chris Gutierrez on the money line. This line's on the move. I think it's for good reason. Stylistically, I think it benefits Gutierrez a lot. He's facing a guy in John Castaneda that's going to look to apply that forward pressure. I think Gutierrez can turn this into a bull versus the Matador situation. He's got great footwork. He's extremely defensively sound, and he's known for his sharp calf kicks. If he's beating up the legs, he's going to wither on that forward pressure, and Castaneda is going to look a little drained each round as they go on. I think Gutierrez is going to be scoring to the target with his jab, with his low kicks, and just not really getting hit clean. Also, that Muay Thai clinch game can help him defend the takedowns when Castaneda looks to mix his game up. Just think Gutierrez is better everywhere, trains with really skilled partners at Factory X Muay Thai. So give me Gutierrez to use that kickboxing skill, stay on the outside, and outpoint Castaneda to a win, probably by decision. Next bet up, this is my dog of the week. I totally disagree with the line. I like Giga Chikadze at plus 160. Chikadze is a UFC veteran that's known for his elite kicking game, some of the nastiest body kicks in the UFC. He's known for his legendary Giga kick, that liver shot that he finds so precisely. And he can mix his target up, right? He can tap you up to the legs with the inside low kick and then go up top high with the head kick. He's facing a guy in David Onama that's certainly a very good fighter. He applies a lot of pressure. He's got granite in his fists, and he's not afraid of a nasty fight, right? He might make the fight just a tough, ugly scrap. But this is a levels fight to me. Giga is just a level above him. He's going to show that skill difference when he's staying on the outside and kind of piecing him up. Onama, as tough as he is, we only know he's tough because he's hittable. And he got dropped in the first round by a short notice debuting opponent last time. Now, everyone gets hit. Like they say, if you're going to walk in the rain, you're probably going to get wet. But I think that's a bad sign against a skilled opponent like Giga, who can, I think, outpoint him wherever this fight goes as well. So I'm just taking the sharper fighters in both these first two matchups. Giga does not deserve to be plus 160. He lost his last fight to a top 5 featherweight in Arnold Allen, but he won the first round. So if you're down on Giga for his last loss, I don't think that's fair. Give me Giga all day. And finally, let's go to the main event of the evening. I really went back and forth with this for so long, but ultimately, I have to go with my general principle. You don't fade the fighting nerds until they lose. And Carlos Prates is one of 4 elite fighting nerds members, the hottest gym in MMA right now, that are 18-0 in the UFC. Prates, Borralho, Silva, and Rufi. I will not fade any of them until they lose. The question going into that Gene Silva fight, who fought last out of the fighting nerds, was, well, he's fighting Bryce Mitchell. And we know this, the fighting nerds are great strikers, but we haven't seen their grappling defense tested yet, right? What's Mitchell going to do? Immediately, the questions were answered. I think you guys still underrate the fighting nerds. They're so good everywhere. And Prates' opponent, Ian Gary, might be able to clinch, might be able to use his fight IQ and his well-rounded game to make it close. But Prates is such a sharp striker that ultimately I think he has the big moments by finding the target, hitting those precise front kicks, that sharp straight left hand down the middle. Prates is going to be able to find the target, put damage on Gary. And even if Gary is tough enough to last or make it a tricky fight, I think Prates is too good everywhere. Look for him to defend the takedowns, have the bigger moments, and win this fight. The fighting nerds will move to 19-0. Let's go. See ya. Big fight now.
Wow, that was really impressive, as usual, Danny Brasco, in an oversized New York Knicks old school starter jacket. I don't want to forget to do this. I got to get to my pick. I'm going to be really quick about mine. And then, Larry, we got to get to your pick. But Mackenzie, you mentioned that the SportsLine model went 3 for 3 in home runs yesterday. And you also mentioned, and I want you to say it for the benefit of those that are maybe listening to the podcast later, there's some home run props that appear to have some value today as well.
Yeah, we're going back to Langford today. And again, this is a lot of the time looking where odds makers have these price, recognizing where we would have made it a shorter line. So you're finding solid value. But Langford, again, around plus 450, you can find him. We make it closer to plus 400. Think he can do it again today. Caminero at plus 550. He's someone we'd set closer to plus 350. So he's had a lot of success for us too. And then Yelich, definitely more of a long shot around plus 900. But again, this is a guy we'd set at plus 500. So just finding good value. And honestly, I think we've hit a home run prop in 11 of 16 days we've started this. So we're up 36 units over that period. So tag along, follow Jake Fettner on Twitter as well. Thank you, Ben, for that. He's been putting out articles with the home run props as well, but I'll start getting those out on Twitter too, because we got to be feeding the people what's going well. Well,
so I'm just coming up with an idea that's ultimately going to give more work to Ben, but I think it's good work. I think we need to bring some of those model plays to the show and just kind of, but like even when you're not on the show, Mackenzie, just kind of like put a chart, top 3, top 5 in terms of the model plays from a home run value standpoint. If the people in the chat, if this big family wants some of that, can you put the yard? That's homage to Buckets. Put the yard in the chat. And if we see enough of the yard, we're going to make a very concerted effort to bring home run props, regardless of who's on the show, home run props to each and every early edge show. I assume that's going to be pretty feasible. I already see a lot of the yard in there. Love to see it. All right, Larry, before you give out your pick, let me just give out a quick round 1 head-to-head matchup. We've got the round 1 head-to-head matchup going on right now. It was the Rico Hoey play with his partner, Sam Ryder, over Smalley and his partner. That was minus 110. They have a one-shot lead, but it's early. They're not even through 9. This one is a little bit more juicy, and I hesitate to give out a juicy play in this format. Team event, it's best ball today. Tomorrow, alternate shot. I will have a little bit more confidence in those plays because I think they're a little bit easier to gauge. With all that said, maybe you want to do a half unit on this. That's totally up to you. I like Luke List. Can't believe I just said that. Luke List and Henrik Norlander over Tyler Duncan and Adam Schenk. This one is pretty easy for me to break down. This is a best ball format. Each golfer plays their own ball. Of these four guys, the one that's playing the best is Henrik Norlander. With that said, he's kind of a shorter hitter, which will hold him back a little bit, but it's not like Tyler Duncan and Adam Schenk are long hitters anyway. And what I like about the Luke List part of this is knowing that Norlander is going to be the steady hand. I think Luke List will give himself an opportunity, a long hitter. He's not playing well at all, I'll say that, but a long hitter who might give himself some birdie and eagle opportunities and maybe just kind of like be a part of that team every third or fourth hole in terms of his contribution. So it is a little juicy. I wish this was minus 120, maybe minus 115, but I still like Luke List and Henrik Norlander over Tyler Duncan and Adam Schenk. Again, minus 130, pretty much across all books, including BetMGM. All right, we got to go back. I think we're going back to the Pistons game, right, Larry?
Yeah, back to the Pistons. Going to be electric tonight in Detroit. This city is so starved for a winner. And Malik Beasley, you can argue whether he got snubbed for the sixth man of the award, but he definitely feels like he got snubbed, and so do the Pistons. So I like the narrative angle of going over 3.5 3-pointers. You don't need the narrative angle with the guy who shoots the way he does. He has had 6 or more threes against the Knicks 3 times this year, including in game 1. Then in game 2, he was off 1 of 8, but he basically only shoots threes. That is his role, playing very big minutes because they have a short rotation. We don't know yet about Isaiah Stewart. He's questionable, but either way, it's him and Schroeder coming off the bench, and that's it for Detroit in terms of the backcourt. So he got 30 minutes. He got 35 minutes. He's going to get up about 10 threes, which is what he does every day. And the Knicks are not good defending the three-point shot, the 5th worst percentage allowed, and that number even goes up on the road. So Malik Beasley, to make a point, you go to his Twitter account when the award came out, he just typed boo all over and got a lot of feedback because, you could definitely argue he was more valuable to the Pistons. He averaged 2 more points than Peyton Pritchard, who won the award. So I think he makes a statement tonight.
All right, I'm looking at some picks in the chat, and Japan says Jokic triple-double at plus 130. Denver plays tonight against the Clippers, of course, at 10:05. Larry, any thoughts on this plus 130 number on a triple-double?
You run that by me again.
The Jokic, what do you mean? Jokic triple-double?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at some chat comments.
Okay.
No, I don't mind it. The one thing I did want to mention, though, Sia, which is on my mind, is the NFL draft, and to be in our Discord, which is, closing in on 5,000 members, because RJ White, we know he's the NFL authority. He has bets on the entire draft, but he's also one of the funniest guys around, and he will be in the Discord all night, sweating the draft, sweating his bets, and making some good wisecracks.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, if you're a SportsLine member, this, of course, is free to get into SportsLine Discord. You got to if you're a SportsLine member, you're not in the Discord, you're just leaving so much on the table here. Again, discord.gg /SportsLine. That'll get you in there. You could probably go to the SportsLine site and just click an image and get there that way, too. If you're not a SportsLine member, just go to sportsline.com /join. And if you type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan. Yes, we still have that promo. Sportsline.com /join. Type in the promo code winners. You get 60% off the annual plan. That includes everything. All the articles, all the simulations, all Mike McClure's plays in DFS and NASCAR. And we cover all sports, all the articles that Danny Brasco submits with respect to UFC, the soccer articles, the home run model stuff, all the model stuff. It's all in there as a part of sportsline.com. So make sure you check that out. I do want to close with this before we get to the recap screen. Larry, we did a poll on whether or not it was a cheap shot. And unless I saw it wrong from Ben, I think the majority agreed with you that it was not a cheap play.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is cheap, throughout his career, we know it's Draymond Green. And, maybe in this case, he didn't push him in, whatever it was. If Steve Kerr was not going to make an issue about it, to me, that's good enough.
Anybody else have opinions on that? It did look like, initially I was like, oh, that must be a cheap play. And then I watched it 5 more times, and it just kind of looked like he awkwardly fell into Jimmy Butler. I didn't think it was anything that he was doing on purpose. Anybody? No thoughts?
I'll say, yeah, it's just they're playing so hard. The intensity is there. And yes, they're fantastic athletes, but they still fall and stumble often. So I don't think it's I don't think it's a dirty play at all. I think it's just competitive basketball.
Yeah. KC3 says dirty Draymond, no way. Yeah, no comment there. I have a lot to say about Draymond Green. All right, let's get to, I guess we'll get to our recap screen. Apologies if we didn't get to some of your questions. It was definitely a packed show. We even had Ben on the show. A lot of picks to give out, as you can see here. I've got a round one head-to-head matchup, Luke List and Henrik Norlander. This one, by the way, goes off, I think around 1 o'clock. So you still have some time to put this in. List and Norlander minus 130 over Tyler Duncan and Adam Schenk. Then we've got a few picks for UFC Kansas City. Chris Gutierrez money line minus 132, and we've got a Chikadze money line plus 160, and Prates money line. Sorry, I should have been paying attention. I was fixated on the starter jacket. Where Carlos Prates money line plus 110. Those, of course, are from Danny Brasco. We got Malik Beasley over 3.5 3-pointers at minus 120, courtesy of the Maestro, who was back in the Maestro chair. We got Zach Edey over 7.5 points at minus 123 from Mackenzie Brooks, and the Panthers Lightning first period under 1.5 at minus 104 from Mike McClure. That is not where the picks stop, folks. We got Jalen Brunson over, it's a big number, over 28.5 points at minus 105 from Mikey B. The Nats, first 5 money line, minus 108. Corbin Burns, under 5.5 Ks at minus 140. That is from the red hot Tom Fornelli. And we've got a showdown, folks. It's me, it's Ben, it's the Knicks first quarter money line, minus 110 from Ben Wittenstein, our esteemed producer. And I got to say, I think he's lost 2 in a row, but he hit 8 before that. So this guy is really operating at a very, very high percentage. So I'm probably going to lose this showdown and owe Ben a little bit of cash, but that's okay. We'll see how it plays out. Thanks for being part of this show, everybody. Looks like Mackenzie's going to be on HQ tonight from 6 to 7:30 with a lot of NFL draft coverage. Again, during the draft, make sure you're in the SportsLine Discord because you get to see the Maestro and others, and of course RJ White talking NFL draft and maybe some live betting action. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great night. We got day baseball as well. I bet you if you're in the SportsLine Discord in the MLB chat, I bet you're going to see some MLB picks. You'll see Amags step in and dropping some knowledge as well. So it's going to be a busy day. Thank you for being a part of it on the front end. On behalf of everybody on this show, Mackenzie, Larry, Mike, Brasco, Ben, and all of you, let's have a great, great Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, we rest our case.